One of the things that I found really difficult as a full-time professional athlete is the ability to maintain training consistently over a long period of time. And that's amongst doing a lot of different things throughout the week with regards to both training, work, life, everything around that. And I truly believe that it's down a lot, obviously, to pre-planning and making sure that you're managing your time correctly, but also just having the right plan for your training and life outside of training so that you can get the most out of every day and you can be consistent over the long term. Monday morning, 6:30. Heading towards Cardiff Met. Apparently there's a crash on the road, so heading out a little bit earlier than normal for a 6k swim. And then will be about 10-12k run, and then bike session this afternoon. So try and take you through it all, let you know what's going on with life and things. Let's get to it. It's not lost on me that it is difficult to train whilst having a full-time job. I coach loads of people that have full-time jobs, and it is amazing the ability that they have to be able to execute training week in, week out, 14 plus hours, some of them, like even 10 hours is impressive. But the ability to do that every single week and turn up to training, execute the plan every single week is not lost on me. I completely respect what they're able to do every single time that they execute the training as planned. This is about half an hour, 35-minute drive, which I'm having to do most days now, and it does take it out of me. But yeah, I have to leave quite early, and it's just tiring driving. I just don't enjoy it that much. Much prefer just the convenience of being pretty much there. 35 minutes later, just managed to avoid the crash on the dual carriageway. So yeah, 6k in the water, which is going to be the longest session by quite a way since the Christmas break, but it will be nice to see everyone. All too familiar. See if my heart rate's charged over the journey long enough. And it's largely down to that time management side of things, and I've been struggling with that a lot over the past couple of months, and being able to just make sure that I'm being really efficient with how I'm using my time, planning that time. Obviously, something's got to give. Obviously, I can't do everything that I can usually do when I'm fully optimized. I've got my setup at home. I've got things like my turbo trainer set up. I've got no travel. I can eat what I want to eat all the time and just be completely fully optimized. And that's hopefully where I think most people can get to with regards to their day-to-day life, not having too much to change week in, week out, so that it can become very automated and you can take your mind off of things so that you can just put your efforts into where you want to put them into. But over the past couple of weeks and months, that hasn't necessarily been possible for me, so social media is the one that took a hit for me. I couldn't stop teaching, I couldn't stop running entire or coaching, I couldn't stop training because that's my primary thing. Yes, I did reduce my hours, but I caught back up. Over Christmas, I managed to catch up those hours because the previous year I got ill, and as long as I didn't get ill over Christmas this time round, then I was always going to be able to just punch forward with gaining hours on myself from the previous year. So what have I done in training in order to be as efficient as possible? I think primarily I've just focused on hitting the volume and the training sessions rather than necessarily the intensity. So the intensity is the first thing that gives for me, because as my athlete profile I don't necessarily need as much intensity in order to get the gains that other people might need from their day-to-day training. That does mean that it's relatively easy for me to roll through training week in, week out. Yes, some volume had to come out because I just didn't have the time. But overall, I think that it's safe to say that I've managed to do about 25 hours a week minimum over the weeks that I found quite tough when I've not been at home set up for an efficient training block. 6K swim done. Felt actually pretty good, all considered. Felt pretty good, all considered. Or considering. Haven't done 6K in a long time. 4K is the max I did over Christmas. Just, hard to do on your own, especially in the leisure centre with public swimming. So, yeah, actually felt pretty decent. A bit warm in this pool, and it's quite quick actually when you've got other people in there with you and it's only 25 metres. It's a bit of a whirlpool. So just on my way to park outside of Cardiff Met, and then we'll do 12k run with a couple of the boys. What's up? Let's go. I was trying to switch from that. And run done. That was nice. Nice to catch up with Ollie and Yest. Back home now, I think, maybe to the house, just to see what's going on and organise a few bits, because still a lot to do. Some of the things that I have done to be able to execute the training as it is, when I've been really cut for time, is I've just tried to be prepared. Yes, pre-planning in terms of my training plan in Training Peaks so that I know what I'm trying to execute week in, week out is really important, but also just making sure that my kit is set up for the following day, making sure that my turbo is set up, ready for me to just jump on it. That's been the biggest one for me, because I just really find it hard to have to set up my turbo before I want to get on it. If I have to set it up for half an hour before I get on it, I find that I don't really want to do the session. Even if it's an easy aerobic session, I just put it off for longer than I would usually. And I think that that's one thing that I would take forward if I was an age group athlete or any of the athletes that I coach. Just make sure that you've got things set up ready to just jump on and go, because you don't want to have to put it off any longer than you have to. Now the afternoon, ready for 2.5 hour bike session, a bit of alternating threshold and bits and pieces. So first time on the legs in a while, with a bit of intensity. Legs are feeling a little bit tender, just from the past couple of days, just aerobic, but yeah, we'll see how a little build session. I tend to like doing a build session when I'm not sure where I'm at exactly, just to get into it, and I can pump it up as I go. So this is where I've been doing most of my turbo training over the past few weeks, at Em's parents' house, which is great, but at the same time been a bit difficult getting back and forth to Cardiff to train for swimming and running, just pool availability, and also just using people around the swim sessions and kind of run sessions, because it's so much easier to get stuff done with people.
But the past couple of weeks have been alright. I think over the Christmas period and New Year period, so over those 2 weeks, it's always quite difficult with swimming anyway because of the pool closures. So I think I've actually done a pretty good. In fact, I've done a very good job in comparison to this time last year. I think I've gained 35 hours on my yearly total, so my 365 total has gone up 30 hours because last year I was both sick and then I went away for New Year's. So I wasn't too stressed about doing training over that period because I knew that I was going to be, like, anything I did would have been better than last year. So yeah, I think I'm in a pretty good place. I think that whilst I don't feel as though I've done loads of intensity or anything like that, I think that actually I've rolled through 20 hours a week for the past couple of weeks, and now I have delivered myself into the new year in really good shape, or in decent shape, that I can now crack on, do some intensity, prep for camp at the end of the month, and then go on camp, put in a decent shift for a few weeks, and then hopefully, yeah, just get into... Oh, hey, Fred. Yeah, so get off of camp in Portugal in decent shape, come back for a couple of weeks, go away for a couple of weeks, hopefully to Lanzarote, and then, yeah, hopefully start my season pretty soon after that. I will update you with my season plans in the coming videos, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully it's some exciting stuff. But yeah, at the moment, feeling good. I think today's been alright. I think it's going to be one of my biggest days in a while, just because of the kind of total load. But yeah, feeling okay so far. Got to get on this. It's a bit cold. The temperature's dropped massively recently, and this is obviously just a shed. Sometimes I close the door and just don't turn the fan on, and just kind of make this a bit of a sweatbox, but yeah, not too bad. Anyway, I've got a threshold session today. It's going to be a build session, something like 2 by 10 minutes, 4 by 5 minutes, and 6 by 3 minutes. Pretty standard session that I've done quite a few times. And yeah, just hoping to kind of go through the gears, go through the motions, build it up slowly. Don't really know where I'm at because I haven't done a bike session in a couple of weeks, but at the same time, nothing will have moved that much. So just kind of keep it steady, keep it nice and even, work bottom up, because that's my general profile, what it needs. And yeah, just watch some TV, watch some YouTube, and see how I feel tomorrow, essentially. I'll keep you posted.
One of the hardest things to do, definitely, is to ensure that you get enough recovery. And I think this comes from experience, and if you don't have a coach, do get a coach, because they can then give you the confidence in order to peel it back if you need to, and make sure that you get the recovery that you need, because you're not improving if you're not recovering. Okay, so that is day done. I found that ride quite tough in the end. Basically got just over half an hour into it, and I think it was maybe like a 40-50 minute set, and just called it a day because my legs were a bit dull. But yeah, off to get some food now. Em's hungry and I'm hungry, so yeah, have some food, reset, and go again tomorrow.